talk about fan fiction. Ever since 50 Shades of Grey, fan fiction has become this weird phenomena that's a lot less underground than it used to be. It's always been present in the world, but not like it is today. Like, everyone writes fan fiction, and everyone is okay with that. And I love it. I'm a writer by nature, but fanfiction makes me go gaga because I can just be as insane as I want. The rules are already there. I don't have to make them up. And it's so much fun. I love it. So, for my second creative action, for my creative experience, I started writing a fanfiction. It's awesome, and it's so much fun. So a lot of you might not think this is fully creative, but I'm still writing. It's my own story. I'm just using the setting and characters from someone else. That's what makes it fun. Because it's mine still, I'm just incorporating. Because I still have my own characters, I still have my own plot. Just, we wave it a little. It's fun. So, to demonstrate this, I'm going to read you a little bit of it. I've spent about 20 hours off and on just working on this. You know, I'll just start one day and just write a little bit, a couple paragraphs. Sometimes I'll get multiple pages in. It's about 62 pages long now. So, yeah, it's beautiful. It just goes on forever. It's great. So I'm just going to read you a little bit of this. Second chapter doesn't really have any sense. I just have to demonstrate that I did it. Okay, I'm just going to read you about a page. So this is a fan fiction for this internet show. It's just getting worse and worse. Let me say it out loud. Called Red vs. Blue, which is kind of a fan-made show about a video game called Halo. I'm pathetic, but I love it. So I'm just going to read you a couple paragraphs. It's not good by any means, but that's okay. So, walking down the halls, no, running, I wished I had figured out how to metal bend when my earthbending. Forgot to tell you, this is a crossover between Avatar: The Last Airbender and Red vs. Blue, so there's like magical fighting powers. I'll restart. Walking down the halls, no, running, I wished I had figured out how to metal bend when my earthbending teacher had brought it up all those years ago. It wasn't a stubborn complex, just so little bending came naturally to me that it was something so far out of my grasp I couldn't even cry in frustration when I didn't click with it. But oh, how useful it would be right about now. This place was a nightmare of twists and turns. Was I walking on the ceiling? Every part of this structure was so confusing I could have believed it. Where do you hide when you're so lost? What's hiding and what's out in the open here? And it just goes on and on and on. Pages, and I love it. All I do with my life is write this fanfiction whenever I have a chance, and I'm not IBing away. It's wonderful. So, in terms of actual CAS development, because that's what we're here for, 3 major things from this project. Like I said, it's been about 20 hours-ish. First one, increased awareness of strengths and weaknesses. My biggest strength is that I can write a lot. I have a lot of ideas and have a lot of applications for them. I love seeing what characters can do with each other. I guess my biggest strength I've come to realize from writing this is character development. I love seeing characters interact. I don't like giving them direct little things. I like doing flashbacks. I like doing dialogue. I enjoy doing all of these things that really create a strong character. My stories are much more character-driven than they are plot-driven, which brings me to my weakness. In writing this fan fiction, I've realized that I meander a lot in my writing. I go to a lot of plot cul-de-sacs, and I don't know how to get out of them very well. I just kind of jump from point to point. There's not really a fluid plot, and that's a major, major flaw. So what I've tried to do to overcome this is not necessarily plan, because I'm not very good at that. But what I've tried to do is create a cohesive story from start to finish before I wrote it in my head. So I knew exactly where the character was going to start, and I knew exactly where she was going to end. I just needed to get there. And that's a lot more than I've done in the past. Usually I just have an idea and I go with it. So learning to take that step in where do I want this character to end up? Who do I want her to become? And not just who do I want her to be in the beginning has been a really big jump for me as a writer. It's made my writing much more purposeful. And I guess that's one thing CAS has given me is that jump to purposeful writing. And that's really, really important. Another thing that I guess I learned was a little bit of that planning and initiating. This one has much more of the planning than the trench coat did. Trench coat. Because, yeah, I did figure out where I wanted her to end. I actually did, not just in my head, I jotted down some notes, and for a writer as me, that's a big step. I literally have never done that in my life. Except for school papers, but that's because they require them, especially IB papers. Lucky me. Anyway, figuring out how to plan, and especially how to plan character development chapter by chapter, I started to do recently, much more towards the end of my story. Well, end of the beginning, because they're just starting out, and I'm having so much fun, and I have no plans of stopping writing this thing, ever. It's wonderful. Anyway, going through and seeing these characters develop and figuring out beforehand how each interaction is going to change them has become really important to me. I figure out what the relationship is going to be between characters. Like, is this going to be romantic? Is this going to be a friendship? How am I going to begin that, and how am I going to convey that to the reader? Me is the reader, because I never want anyone to read this ever. It's so much for me because I just love writing so much. Anyway, planning out how I want each character to change has become really important to the story, too. And, yeah, that's about it. Perseverance. Continuing. 62 pages. Not much to it, same as the trench coat.